Volkswagen versus Audi, A3 versus Golf. From an image point of view, the Audi should win every time. But this isn't your common or garden Golf, and nor is the A3 any old Audi either. In fact, these two are both premium hatchbacks at the very top of their game. And to make things even more interesting, they share exactly the same mechanical underpinnings. They may have the same oily bits, but these two hatchbacks are completely different inside and out, which makes for an interesting contest. So it's all systems go as these two super hatches prepare to do battle and engage in some low flying on a grey, damp and misty mid-Val raceway. Both these hatchbacks employ Volkswagen's MQB platform, which has already proven its excellence in the more mainstream A3 and Golf 7 models. But what really sets them apart is their use of all-wheel drive. In the case of the Golf, the all-wheel drive system is called 4Motion, but is exactly the same as the Quattro system fitted to the S3. The Golf R's biggest challenge is to differentiate itself from the iconic GTI, with details such as the large bore exhausts, different wheels and a more extrovert body kit. It also happens to be substantially quicker than the GTI and about 100,000 Rand more expensive, which easily pushes it into super hatch territory. Given Audi's premium status, the S3 Sportback's high flyer image comes as no surprise, but the four-door layout softens the usually edgy A3 look. Styling is very much a subjective issue, and it's very difficult to come up with some objective reasons why one would like one car rather than the other. The Golf, much more the youthful contender here, the more aggressive car, the patently hot hatch model, whereas the Audi plays a more sophisticated, more elegant role, and maybe will attract a slightly older audience as well. Close up though, the S3 does reveal its more muscular side. There's a lot of attention to detail here. Hungrier air intakes, a sleek but muscular body kit, big wheels and fat tyres. The treatment might not be extrovert, but there's an underlying menace to the S3's execution. By comparison, the Golf is all snarls and aggression. It's certainly racier and is happy to express its performance aspirations with a look that's a lot more arresting than the Audi. The details reveal similar traits though: larger air intakes, lower sills, deeper spoilers and bigger wheels. In that sense, the Golf R and the S3 adopt a similar approach, even if the aesthetic execution and the visual results are very different. Put the two contenders on the track and you'll find a lot of similarities too. The Golf is very rapid indeed, but retains much of the balance and confidence that makes the less urgent GTI such a great all-rounder. The S3 appears to be as polite as its subtle styling suggests, until you realize just how quickly it gathers speed and how fast you end up approaching corners. As I said before, the mechanicals of these two cars are absolutely identical, so you shouldn't be fooled by the fact that the engines look different at face value. It's exactly the same 2-litre 4-cylinder turbocharged unit with a lot of low-down torque and a nice linear power delivery. Maximum power here, 206 kilowatt, 380 newton meters of torque. The Audi only comes with a 6-speed S-tronic dual-clutch gearbox, whereas the Golf you can order in either a manual or a DSG version. To compare apples with apples, both our test cars feature the 6-speed dual-clutch gearbox, but it could well be that for some, the allure of a manual transmission would be enough to place the Golf ahead of the S3 in the desirability stakes. Both cars also offer the ability to select driving modes and have been switched to their most aggressive settings. In many ways, the interior treatment of these two cars mimics what you see from the outside. The Audi, very minimalist, very stylish, and although it has a lot of bells and whistles, it almost looks Spartan from the inside. Of course, the red trimmings here at 22,000 Rand optional extra. Moving across to the Golf, you'll find a lot more ostentation, I suppose, certainly a bolder treatment, a younger one with a lot of blue and black touches, and the kind of treatment that tells you that that is very much a performance hatch. Given their top-of-the-range status, it comes as no surprise that equipment levels are high. In the Golf, the detailing is sporty, with carbon fibre look bolsters, leather and metal accents on the switchgear, and hand-stitched finishes. The instrumentation is comprehensive, and a central touchscreen display provides intuitive access to a host of features. Audi interiors have long set the pace in the premium arena, and the S3 shows off that class and pedigree with an execution that is solid and chunky, with clean ergonomics, clear instrumentation, and a tactile sense of well-being. The parade red upholstery is a 22,000 Rand option that looks too garish in this context though. But the seats are comfortable and supportive, and the MMI system with its pop-up screen and intuitive controller is top class. But how do the two contenders shape up in dynamic terms? In straight-line terms, there's very little to choose between the Audi and the Golf. Both cars get off the mark with a relentless intensity. There's no sign of turbo lag whatsoever, and of course no wheel spin because of the quattro all-wheel drive system, 4Motion as it's called in Volkswagen language. The 0 to 100 time, 5 seconds dead, top speed 250 kilometers an hour, the latter of course limited as per usual, and you just get the feeling that without that electronic nanny, this car would run a lot quicker, and the same of course goes for the Audi as well. This Audi has got drive select, a way that you can tailor the responses and also the suspension to match personal preference and also driving conditions. Volkswagen has a very similar system as well, together with magnetic ride. So really, you can change these cars to suit the way you like to drive, and also whether you obviously are on a track or on the road. I have to say that the all-wheel drive system, which is 4Motion in Golf terms and Quattro in Audi terms, really makes a huge difference here, not only in terms of straight-line traction, but also when it gets to driving around corners really quickly. Those old days of the nose ploughing wide and the car feeling less than agile have changed completely, and now you have a car that sticks to the chosen line, that's very pointy on the turn-in, and is generally a lot of fun to drive. And that verdict is really the same, regardless of whether you're driving the Golf R or the Audi S3 Sportback. As is so often the case with comparisons such as these, there's a large element of subjectivity when it comes to choosing between a car like the Audi and the Golf. We said before that they are mechanically identical, but the execution is very different indeed. This is the sleeker, more sophisticated car. It has a high-tech, elegant image, and it is certainly quick, but not ostentatiously so. The Golf, on the other hand, is the youthful, maybe slightly brasher, and certainly louder contender here. So it depends on what you like. The question we have, of course, is which one would you choose? Our nod goes to the S3 for its overall class and outright competence, but when the cheaper manual Golf R arrives later this year, we may be tempted. A lusty 2-litre engine and DSG gearbox combined with 4Motion all-wheel drive make this the fastest Golf yet. The Sportback has the identical drivetrain, but it's more understated and yet matches the Golf's performance. Given its premium spec and its classy interior, the Audi gets our vote, but the Golf is slightly more affordable.